Hey guys, it is Sunday, what is it? November 10th. And guess what? I'm not alone. I'm with Justin, aka Console Kids. Say hi, buddy.
That's right.
That's right. He's
hey guys.
Here. Yeah.
I'm here.
And you want to know why he's here? You want to know why he's here? Oh, shoot, that was the wrong button. That was the applause button. Yeah, Justin! Woo! But
that's how Dad did it.
That's how America does it. It's worked out pretty well so far. Yes.
That's how.
Justin, big applause for you, buddy. So glad you're here.
Ralph.
Super, super pumped up and excited.
Yeah, Ralph.
No one saw that coming. No one saw that coming. Okay, I'm gonna, oh man. All right, so Justin, we have so much to talk about, and what we're gonna do tonight is I'm gonna kill the music so that it's not distracting. Actually, I'm just gonna lower it a little bit. How about that? I just love them. I love my intro song. I know Justin can't hear it, so he's less excited over there. But we're gonna play Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but this is no emulation. I wish I could show you. I meant to set up a camera so you could see the board, but this is no emulation. I'm using the actual arcade board. It's hooked up to a Super Gun, so I'm pretty stoked about that. Justin's also going to be on the chat, so you can help me out with that. And yeah, we're just going to talk about games and fun stuff. And it looks like you already got a question, Justin. Where the hell do I get a Galaga deck protector?
All right. So, he says they're sold out at Arcade 1-Up. And so the next place I would check is eBay.
That's true. Good point. Go to eBay, bud. I think that's it. There's a very, very, very small chance I have one in my... Actually, there's probably a good chance I have one in my storage unit, which we need to do a video of that because that thing's a freaking disaster. But, yeah, so I'm going to kill the music, Justin. We're going to get this thing going, man.
We're going to do this.
All right, let's do it. Okay, let's see. Let me get my Elgato. All right, there we go. So Justin, I know you can't hear this, but this is the legit TMNT intro song, by the way. The real one.
I don't believe you.
No, it's the real one. It's not.
No, I don't believe you.
Here, all right. Well, it is. I'm telling you, it's the real one.
No, I think you dumped the ROM and then you took Arcade 1-Up's version and flashed it on it and then put it on your real arcade. That's what I think you did.
That's exactly what I did, actually. I did that.
Okay.
I did that.
Yeah.
Oh, someone's saying our audio is choppy, but I got a pretty good signal here, and looks like our stream is healthy from my perspective. So hopefully that's all good for everyone else. Someone said audio is fine. So just real quick, just to recap what we're actually doing is we're playing TMNT from the actual arcade board. There's no emulation going on right here. I'm actually using a Neo Geo CD controller for this, so it's got the clickies. So hold on a second. Can you hear that? Can you hear the clickies?
It's nice, bud.
Oh my gosh, it sounds so good with those micro switches. All right. Anyways. So Justin, thanks for joining, man. I really appreciate it. It's we've been having some fun lately with some of the AtGames stuff, and you've been kind of helping me out with some of that as I've been kind of working through the earlier days of that. Now it's kind of more public knowledge at this point, but there were some pretty fun things we were doing with that early on.
That's right. Yeah, man. It was a lot of fun when we were discussing about the different options for the AtGames arcade. And when you discovered that it actually ran Windows inside it, I was thrilled. And then you started modifying it. Why don't you tell that story, Ralph? That was good.
Okay, but can you tell them real quick the meme that you were going to put out before I even say that? Because it's really funny.
What was it like? Hey, guys, remember that time when RetroRalph hacked AtGames Cloud?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, basically what we found out was... he was making all these modifications. He was adding we don't want to confuse anyone, but you can install MAME on the AtGames new cabinet. But at first there wasn't support for that. So remember, Ralph got this day one, right? Ralph picked it up right away, and so he was trying to get MAME to run on it, and he got it to work. But he was actually installing MAME on AtGames Cloud Windows machine, like not physically in his cabinet. And once we kind of discovered that, we were like, back out, man. Delete, get out.
I was like, oh no, I'm going to prison. That's it. I'm going to prison. But the funny thing is I kind of... There was a part of me, I'd gone back and forth with someone else that I'm buddies with, and I'm like, dude, this can't be... I go, this can't be their server. This can't be local because and I'm thinking, or maybe there's some weird virtualization software that would maybe make it look this way, but it looked like it had 30 gigs of memory, and then I'm like, holy crap, I'm on their actually VMware server or whatever. They might be using Hyper-V, I don't know, but whatever. They're using some virtualization engine, and I'm like, holy crap, I'm actually on the virtual machine. So like, we were doing a lot of crazy stuff to that machine. I had even rebooted it a couple times, and how I really realized I was on that server was when I rebooted it, and it didn't actually reboot my AtGames machine. So I'm like, oh crap, like what did I just reboot? So that's kind of where that happened anyways.
Yeah, there was this very small moment where I was like, wait a second. There's some weird scenario where AtGames is selling a processor and a system. I didn't know about the gigs of RAM.
Yeah, I didn't tell you about that.
We were talking about the 250 gigs of SD, and then it was running an 8-core.
Yeah, it was an 8-core processor. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're like, last year that was worth $400. You know.
So that
like,
that was a telling sign.
Right. We're like.
So for those of you that are just joining, I am not playing this on the AtGames machine. This is the actual arcade hardware, so there's no emulation going on at all right here. I have it hooked up to a super gun, which unfortunately I wanted to, I've been kind of busy today, so I didn't have a chance to really take a picture of it. I wanted to take a picture of it so you guys could see it beforehand, but I'll probably I'll post a picture of the setup on my YouTube as like a community link or something like that. By the way, I did end up grabbing a beer, so this episode is unofficially sponsored by Deschutes. So Deschutes is a good brewery out of Oregon, and the fresh squeezed IPA is really good. But hold on, I'm gonna take a drink so these guys are gonna kick my butt for a minute.
Do it.
It's usually a family show, so I usually don't do that. But all right, I'm getting my butt kicked.
Now, Ralph, if you will, once you get rid of these guys, right? And if I'm correct, in the game, everyone, I'm kind of looking at screen, so ignore the fact that I'm like, looking not straight at the camera. I'm looking at Ralph over here. Anyway, if you stand there, right? If you stand still for a while,
yeah.
Shredder comes. Is that right? There's like this animation scene. Is that right?
No, Splinter comes and he runs across and says, "Hurry!" I think, or is that the second one? I always get this one and the second one kind of confused. All right, we'll wait here for a second, but I thought it was maybe in the second one where he does that.
Well, what's interesting is maybe we could do this some other time. I don't want to bore the stream, but there's animation that comes, right? And what I've been told is the animation that you see on the original hardware is different from the one in the arcade 1-up. The animation is ever so slightly different.
Oh, really? Okay. I did not know, but I did know about the song, which everyone knows about.
Right.
Can someone tell me? Oh, he said it is the second version. Can someone tell me how the game audio sounds? Because I always see I have my headphones in a monitor mode, and sometimes it's slightly lower for me. So I just want to make sure that you guys hear the gameplay okay, and it's quiet. Okay, I'm gonna pump it up a little bit. So give me 1 second, guys.
Hey, I see Calvin's in the chat. Remember you, dude? I think you came. You won. I think Ralph was. I don't know, Ralph. You want to talk about some of the things that you got coming up? You might be doing some fun stuff with the community.
Yeah. So fun. Oh shoot! I wasn't paying attention. They dropped the bomb on me. So actually, something that I've been promising for a long time, and I actually haven't really done it because I got so distracted by the AtGames thing, and the AtGames thing, believe it or not, ended up being a lot cooler than I thought. Like, I'm having fun with it, but I'm having fun with it, I think, for a different reason. Like, that's why I want to, like, be clear that I think with all of these, like, little add-ons that they have, if you're not really familiar with and haven't played with MAME ever, this might be, like, something new for you. It's not ultra difficult, but it's time-consuming, and you have to do all this stuff yourself. So I was excited because I like to, and this is kind of a thing that Justin and I share, is we both like to tinker with things. So I was having more fun with the AtGames machine because you could, like, tinker with it and do things that you couldn't do with, like, let's say, an arcade 1-up. So that kind of distracted me, but the video I've been trying to put out forever is the part 2 of the Beast cabinet, which is my big, huge my 4-player multicade. But I worked on that today, so I'm hoping to get that out this week. Because I'm kind of getting, honestly, I'm getting a little bit over the, I mean, it's like, talk about oversaturation. It's like there's millions, it's like a video a day on AtGames, and I got wicked excited too and started posting stuff. So I'm trying to calm down myself too and kind of refocus back on the other stuff that I have going on. Although they keep adding, I mean, Justin, do you want me to call you Justin or Console Kids? I feel like it's...
Yeah, Justin's fine.
Yeah,
Just
you can
Justin.
call me Ralph. Let's just be on the, like, more not... Yeah, because it's weird to call me Retro Ralph. But, so, Justin, don't you think that, like... I don't know, shoot, what were we even talking about? I just totally lost my train of thought right there.
Well, let me help you. So, you've been making a lot of videos on AtGames, and now you're talking about going back to making some arcade 1-up videos. That kind of poses the question of, where do you think this is going? We have two companies now that are competing in a way for the same market of people. Now, some people have said that, arcade 1-up is kind of going after the people that want, like, those titles, like a Pac-Man, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then you got the multi-cade.
Yeah.
For like, the AtGames unit. So, what's going to happen next? What's the next move? What do you think?
I don't know. So I've been really thinking about this because I do feel like there's people that have the opinion that, well, they're two separate markets. One's a multi-cade kind of thing, and the other the people maybe they care less about the artwork and things like that, and they just want to play a bunch of their favorite games, which I get that, and I agree with that. But then the other argument to is it two separate markets is that some people like that the arcade 1-up has the artwork or a close to representation of the way the cabinet looked originally. So I gotta think that 1-up, they got a couple of cabinets obviously that are probably going to be inevitable, right? I think one of those is going to be probably NBA Jam, and I think the other one might be Simpsons and maybe X-Men. So I think there's some that are coming, but the question is that how many people that have already adopted it continue to buy them? Because I mean, think about some of the people that have like 10 of these in their house. Like, how does that have to stop at some point? So, is it sustainable long term, or do they go the route where they maybe start introducing, maybe a concept of adding games to it or having an online service or something like that? I would like to think that that's the path they would have to head, because I think with this AtGames cabinet doing so many different things, it kind of puts some pressure on them, in my opinion. At least it puts pressure that they have to innovate and do something maybe different. I don't think they can stay the course forever that they're on right now.
Right. Something interesting that I learned recently, AtGames, or an arcade 1-up, one of their deals is they work with a company that does the emulation. It's not like the developers at arcade 1-up are writing the emulators, right? And they're not necessarily just hiring a developer to go take a emulator that's off the shelf, putting it in their cabinet. They're actually hiring companies to make, and they're companies that are in the industry that are building emulators for Switch, right? So these big companies, reputable companies. But I don't know about that information when it comes to AtGames. Like, is AtGames using a company they did 350 games. So is that 350 games? Did they use one company to build an emulator that'll run all of them? I don't know all the information for that.
Yeah,
have you heard anything?
No, I have not heard that actually. So yeah, it definitely is an interesting. It's different. It's definitely interesting to talk about. And then I'm kind of wondering. I kind of feel like they may get into a place where they decide they want to have the option to add games. So maybe they can stay with their cab theme, but maybe there's like, maybe you have a Konami cabinet that actually has the ability to download if it's licensed other Konami titles, or get into the online gaming part of it, where if it's a fighting cab, it actually has the ability to download other fighting games within a series. So instead of being like 4 games, maybe you have, like, if it's Street Fighter, maybe you have access to all, like a Capcom Classics cabinet. I think that would be the way to go. Because the one thing that I will say is when and I talk about this actually in my Beast Cabinet video that I'm going to publish probably this week, is that having thousands of games can actually be quite cumbersome, almost to the point where you'll go in front of that system and you won't even know what to play, right? You'll actually sit there for so long sorting through them. So I do like the more purpose-built cabinets when it comes to, like, it's kind of making that decision for me. Where you can be pretty overwhelmed. Sometimes I go in front of the Beast Cabinet and I don't even know what to play, and I end up sorting through the games for 30 minutes and only play for 10, So, so the one and done concept, which someone mentioned in there, is sometimes good for some people, but you can also get really overwhelmed. So I'm not really a big fan of putting like 5,000 games on a cabinet, because I feel like you won't ever really get to what you really want to play, Maybe more like of a... Actually, Chris, who's in the channel, Chris Skyzot, who actually... he publishes videos on the channel as well. we've talked about this before, where sometimes having like a smaller subset of games makes it easier. So he builds his own RetroPie images instead of going to like arcade punks. So that way, instead of having like 10,000 games off the shoot, he goes, all right, cool, I'm going to pick 10 or 20 that I really like. But I think a lot of people don't want to do that because they feel intimidated by it being difficult, right? Like that it's going to be hard to build a RetroPie image by themselves or something.
Yeah. You're kind of choppy there. I hope that's just between you and me, not to the audience here. But yeah, you kind of pointed out some interesting things. Arcade 1-Up is really working with maybe you'd call them publishers. Video game publishers like the Konami cabinet and Atari cabinet. I wonder if they go to them and say, "Hey, we're gonna build a cab for you," right? That's kind of the pitch. It's like it's gonna have just your games in it, and we're gonna market it. And we're gonna talk to retailers, and we're gonna spend. And I think we've heard from Chris, was it Chris, the CEO? Is that right?
Scott.
Scott, that's right. Sometimes I see Chris. I don't know why. So Scott, he'll say, they'll kind of focus on one publisher for about 3 months. There's some marketing going on there. They're like, he said that, and then they kind of did this summer. Mortal Kombat and Final Fight. They kind of came out around the same time.
Sorry, I'm getting my total butt kicked because I'm not paying attention. I'm like listening to it. Anyways, go ahead. I'm all right.
Yeah, this is the hard part, right? You can't. You gotta really. Really try, man. Yeah. So they work with a publisher, right? They obviously sign an agreement. They work with a company that's going to build the emulation for it. Someone experienced working with those type of games, and then they market. And then they focus on a retailer and getting agreements, right? So that's an interesting relationship, right?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
As they go on to the next set of whatever's coming out in 2020, is it Taito? He mentioned in one of his videos.
Did he really? I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, he said. Well, his words were, Taito is going to be a big partner.
Oh, okay. Was that in a news article, or was that? I didn't catch that.
Like E3 or one of the other interviews when they were going to different events. But Space Invaders was like already out, right, when he said that. It may have been just something he said to, like he had a good relationship with the people there.
Yeah.
But to me, it kind of made me feel like there's going to be another title. So I spent all this time trying to figure out, okay, what else does Taito make? The only big game that I knew was like Elevator Action.
Yeah,
but I
can't
didn't know
see
if
a cab on that
title. Yeah.
I mean, I like that game, but I wouldn't want to buy a whole
Right.
cabinet based on Elevator Action. That's for sure.
Right.
Just recently too. I don't know if you saw that article that I posted on my on YouTube community, but it was like Scott talking about like it was whoever the person doing the interview was talking about future cabinets and they wanted like I think it was like X-Men and Simpsons, and he's like, well, I can't confirm or deny that, but it sounded like he was being kind of, sort of trying to like be a little bit have some foresight into like the future, and I don't know, that's interesting, but I don't know, like it's weird to me. I love X-Men, but I don't know that I would love a whole cabinet. I don't know, it's weird. I guess, but that's like subjective, right? Everyone has games that were like their favorite cabinets. I think I've seen so many people make modded X-Men cabinets at this point that maybe I'm just sick of it, but it's also because I'm always in all these channels where I'm seeing it, so I think I might get a little jaded by being in these groups, right? Because we see it like as if everyone does it, and the modding community isn't that big, right? So, anyways.
So, Ralph, we got some questions here. First of all, there's some people that would like to help you out. Matt says, please, I beg of you, Ralph, just press jump and attack. It'll be a whole lot easier.
I'm just button mashing. I just did it. I'm doing it right now.
I added a little editorial to that. But anyway, we do have some questions. I'll point this to you, Ralph.
Now I'm just gonna. Now, by the way, I'm just gonna do jump and attack just because
just the whole time.
Because someone said that. Yeah.
It says, could one of you make a tutorial? Hold on, it's scrolling. So let me. Okay. So Robert says, could one of you make a tutorial video on adding cores to a Raspberry Pi B+? I tried on RetroArch, failed miserably. So what do you think, Ralph?
So I actually think there's already a really good video on that ETA Prime did. I think that's pretty much already been done. I would honestly, I would honestly go there first because I'm pretty sure he already has that. But it's pretty straightforward. So I would just do ETA Prime, RetroArch setup, or something like that. I'm pretty sure there's a... Oh, man, I just got blasted by that bomb. I was sitting there. Yeah, I think that ETA Prime already has one on that. So that should be a good source for that.
Yeah, that's right. We got Trevor saying, how hard is it to add a trackball and a spinner to a Raspberry Pi?
Believe it or not, I've only added a trackball to a Raspberry Pi. I have not added a spinner. So trackballs are super easy if you get a modern trackball with USB. So a lot of these like Hap clone trackballs actually have USB right out to them, so they act just like a mouse. So
That's
typically,
right.
yeah, typically they're super easy. They're somewhat plug and play. Actually, if Chris is in there, actually he's in there. He's already responding.
He's in there.
Chris just did a spinner, I think. I've actually never done a spinner on a Retro Pi. I've only done a spinner on a PC, so he'd be better to answer for that. But most of the modern spinners, even Glenn's Retro Show spinner, it comes with an extra encoder board, which it will show up like a mouse too. So it shows up as like a secondary mouse. So it's usually pretty easy to set up.
That's right. The arcade companies, when they were building the trackballs back in the day, they were using the technology for mice.
Yeah,
PS2,
exactly. Yep.
Serial. And as it adapted over the years, when they went USB, they just used the same technology.
Now be careful though, if someone buys a Hap trackball, typically the Hap trackball is going to not have that. It's going to have the arcade connection on the end, so it's going to be for like the actual PCB that it was meant for. I have not explored if there's a Hap USB adapter or anything like that. I'm assuming there probably is one. I'm unfamiliar with it, but if you're using a Hap one, just keep that in mind if you go to do it. But a lot of these like reverse engineered Hap ones that have USB on it are pretty good. And actually, Justin, a lot of them still have PS2 on them too. They still come that way.
Yeah, it's really great because they're using just standard technology. It's been around for a really long time. They're not trying to reinvent the wheel, and so a lot of times compatibility is high.
Ooh, we got a joystick question,
aftermarket
dude.
things.
I love joystick questions. There's a joystick question there.
Yeah. So which joystick would you recommend, man?
All right, so that's a tough one only because it depends on what you're gonna do, with like what you're gonna game most. If you're gonna do mostly fighting games, I'd say a good budget stick for fighting games that won't break the bank but works really, really good is the Hap competition sticks. Love those. Those are so awesome. The only thing you have to worry about is if you're putting it in a 1-up, there's a little bit of modification that needs to be done on the I think it's the player one, because it's so close to the edge of the board that you might have to use like a little routing tool to just sort of make some room for it. But I would say those are going to be awesome if you like fighting games. And then if you like something that's maybe a little looser stock, the Sanwa JLFs are really good too. But some people like I almost said like their stick a little harder. No, that's a wrong choice of words. Like their stick like a little bit stiffer. If so, then maybe you put like a different spring in it. But the Sanwa JLF with like a 4-pound spring is really nice for fighting games too. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I've been talking to a lot of different people about that specifically, and getting a Sanwa is definitely a common but the debate really is the 2-pound versus the 4-pound. And I've heard a lot of hardcore people that are just like, nope, stock, just go 2-pound, you're good. Then I heard other people, it's like, oh,
it depends.
Like Ralph showed, right? Like you do the little flick test, you know?
Yeah, you flick the stick, man.
Yeah, the app. That's all I do when I go into an arcade cabinet. I'm like, how well are these maintained? I go to a barcade or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just do the flick. You know?
Yeah, and if you go to a place
it bounces back. I'm like, there you go.
Yeah. No, for sure. So the other thing too is, so if you want budget sticks, like there's some good budget sticks too. But I mean, the JLF and the Hap competitions aren't bad. And if you want a good place to get them, go to Tornado Terry's. That's usually the good place for the Hap competition stuff. As far as buttons go, I'm a little snobby on the micro switches. If you use the Cherry micro switches, they're really, really nice. And actually, there's something I want to... Dude, I'm getting so cremated. Hold on, dude. I'm getting so cremated right now.
Come on. They're blinking red. You know what that means? You almost got this.
I know, but they're so cremating me right now. Hold on. Let me just take these guys out.
You go in and put it on hard or something? Come on.
Actually,
you can beat this game in 45 minutes.
Actually, I don't know what I have it on because it's whatever the stock PCB came with, and I didn't actually check it beforehand. So I don't. The dip switches might be on the harder settings. I'm gonna say that just so that I'm just gonna say that.
I think I beat this game 5 times in the last 3 weeks. Basically, anyone comes over, they see all the cabinets, they see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and they're like, let's play. And I'm like, okay, here we go again. I guess we're gonna beat this game again. I mean, I love the game. It's awesome, but, you know, when it's 3 days in a row.
Yeah, I know.
All right, let's do. Can we try Turtles in Time, please?
All right, remind me of something. So there was something that I noticed. Actually, it was my buddy Daniel that told me about this, and I'm actually kind of bummed that he told me. So if you're playing the TMNT arcade 1-up cabinet, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but I wish I could pause and talk, but I can't. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but there's a. Let me kill this guy and I'll talk real quick. But there's a lot of travel to those 1-up buttons, so actually it kind of makes the button seem like the game seem like there's a little bit of delay. So when I'm playing it, I kind of like I engage the button a little bit, and then that way I'm making like little smaller micro presses. But if you play it on a different, like if you use like a cherry micro switch, which the original game had leaf switches, which I think I incorrectly stated somewhere that it had regular micro switches, but those were way more sensitive. So I kind of wish he never said that to me, because now I want to replace the buttons in my TMNT. But if no one told you, you probably wouldn't. So I probably just ruined it for like anyone on here that actually owns the TMNT. It seems like there's delay and lag, but it's not. It's just the way the switches are, or the buttons are.
All right.
What's going on in the chat?
Okay, then. That's real nice, Ralph.
What? What'd I do?
No, it's... I loved listening to you, but sometimes the audio cuts in and out, so I'm just
no.
Yeah,
oh, shoot.
That sounds great.
Well, I hope it's not cutting out for everyone else. I think it's been okay.
I think we're okay. Hey, guys, let us know if the audio sounds good. We can make some adjustments here. Okay, cool.
Wait, it's not, Chris, or it is? Oh, there's 90. Wow, we got 90 people in here. Thanks for joining, guys. That's awesome. If you're new, consider subscribing. That'd be cool. Chris says audio is fine.
Cool. So someone asked, let's see, Howard asked, Ralph, do you have Batman Forever game in any of your cabinets?
I have it via emulation on the Beast, and I think I have it on. Yeah, I have it on the PC up here too. And then someone actually a really cool. Shoot, I can't think of his name right now. I'm doing a video on this. I actually had, for the first time, I had someone send me something. They sent me a Twitter message and they said, "Hey, I'm getting rid of some games. Are you interested in any of these?" And one of them was Batman Forever on the Saturn. So I actually haven't had a chance to hook up my Saturn or take that box and unbox it. But I'm really excited because he sent me Batman Forever on the original Saturn. So, and I have a Saturn, so that should be fun. But why do they ask? Do they want me to do a Batman Forever live stream? That'd be cool.
Yeah, Howard, let us know.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, maybe on the next stream, that'd be a game you want to see Ralph do.
Yeah, for sure. Oh shit! Damn it! I just got ran over, man.
Yeah. So if anyone has any other questions, we'd love to talk about them here. Our goal here is to distract Ralph as much as possible.
That's easy to do.
So that we end the stream without him beating this game, so we can all laugh at him.
Really easy to. Well, that's easy. I wanted to see. I'm looking at my TV, which is also streaming the live stream, and I feel like the brightness is a little high on this game, so I'm gonna pump it down a little bit.
All right.
I think that looks better as I die a bunch of times. I don't know. Hold on. I'm still adjusting it, so. All right. Did you see? So you and I haven't really, we were talking a lot about when I initially picked up the AtGames system. We were talking a lot about that, and they just recently added. And I was on a work trip all week, and so I didn't have a chance to play with it much this week. But they did add the ability to put bezel art in it, which is actually kind of cool. So because the system is a 24.5-inch screen, so it'll give you like big bezels on the side. I'm sure it'd be a little pain in the ass to go download all of those, and I can't remember the exact resolution they need to be in, but it's kind of cool, I guess. The whole idea that they're making it this like more of an open platform is kind of neat to me.
Yep. Yeah, very cool. So we got some more questions coming in.
Yeah.
Many related to AtGames, so it's perfect. So
Okay.
Trevor asks, how do you like the controls of the AtGames Legend Ultimate? I'm debating getting one, but I don't know how to change out the stick button spinners. Or he doesn't want to, is what he's trying to say. So it's cute. Yeah.
I actually wouldn't. Honestly, they're pretty good. Like, I actually wouldn't switch them out. I mean, put it this way. I haven't played something where I was like, man, I wish it was switched out. The only thing I might switch is if you wanted to play a lot of fighting games on it, you might want to change out the ball top for a bat top, but they're actually halfway decent. And then maybe this would be one, Justin, where you'd put like a heavier spring in if you want that, like, kind of more more resistance to the stick. But I would actually leave them. I wouldn't bother spending the money. Wait till they die, but they're actually good. Like, they're way better than the Wave 1 Arcade 1-Up. I mean, light years beyond the Wave 1 Arcade 1-Ups. Arcade 1-Up Wave 1 was, I hate to use this word, but they were trash. I mean, they were terrible. So, and that's all I have to say about that.
Cool. So Super Patriot asks, how long before you get the Legends Arcade Brute Force mod done?
I hate when I should know better than to say I'm gonna finish a video and then not do it. Sorry guys. Here's one thing you have to know about me is sometimes I'll hold on, let me drink a little bit of my beer here. By the way, Deschutes Fresh Squeeze IPA. It's really good. When you say done, could they clarify done? Because I did do it. I think he means like the details of how to actually do it. I think is what.
Yeah. Does he need details? Can you make a dedicated detail video?
Yeah.
Right, so
I think that's what he's
Bozo
saying.
asks, what do you think? What do you think of the AtGames machine? Is it worth the price? So what price are we talking about? $500-$600?
Well, if it's Sam's Club, it's $4.99, right? Still, so if you're savvy enough to be able to add MAME games and play with the emulation cores and stuff, then I think it's totally worth it. If you plan on just keeping it out of the box, never using any of the online bring your own game services or bring your own ROM services, then no. Unless you love those games that are in the 350. The problem I had with the 350 is there's so many console games, and some console games only translate to arcades that well. So for me, it would have been a no if they hadn't opened up the platform to MAME and Genesis and some of these other cores that also work. So I hope that answers it. But if you're into tinkering and messing with stuff, yeah, it's freaking well worth it.
So my question is, did you already have a Sam's Club membership, or did you sign up for one just to get the cabinet? If so, how much is your membership?
Wait. That wasn't a question in the chat, was it? That's your own question.
No, that's my question.
Shit. Dude. Okay, I didn't have a Sam's Club membership, and I think it was $30. I think?
Yeah, so the big question is it worth it to get a Sam's Club membership, or is it just pay the extra $100 by going to Walmart? What do you think?
But isn't there? So here's one thing I absolutely don't know. Maybe you know this. Isn't the Walmart cabinet smaller than the Sam's Club cabinet?
So okay, someone said that, right? But I want proof, because if you think about it, do you actually think that AtGames would ask a manufacturer to make two cabinets that are slightly different in size?
I actually don't know. I heard that too. I don't know the truth on that. So someone tell me. If someone knows, I actually don't know.
Yeah, and if the answer is we went to the website of Walmart and compared it to the website of Sam's Club, that's not proof.
No, I really do. Justin, maybe you can look at it real quick. If you go to the AtGames website, I think there are two separate cabinets with two separate specs. I really do think that.
I mean, I believe like a 3/4 scale versus a full scale, that makes sense. But if there's two that are just an inch or two apart, that doesn't make sense to me.
Well, that seems weird to me. That does seem weird to me.
And I thought that's what someone was saying. They're like, the Walmart one is slightly smaller, like millimeters smaller.
That would be weird. Well, I will tell you this. So when we were at E3, they showed us. So it was weird. They only showed us the big cabinet, the one everyone has, right? The Sam's Club one.
Right.
And then there was like this one in the corner, like there was like this sign that said AtGames, and it was like an advertising sign, and behind that sign was that cabinet, but it wasn't powered on, and it was smaller. It was like 1-up size without a riser.
Right.
But I never cared about that one, because the only one I really was interested in was the one I bought. So I actually don't know. That's a really good question. If someone can confirm that, that'd be awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, but I guess to answer your question, Justin, if they're the same, I wouldn't buy a Sam's Club membership unless you have some other reason to have a Sam's Club membership. You know what I mean? It might not be worth it to get the Sam's Club membership. You know. I got it because I'm a moron and I had to have it. So.
Hey, we got P-Dub on here, man. What's up? What's up, man? And he says, P-Dub says, Walmart cabinet is supposed to be 1 inch smaller.
That seems so weird to me, by the way. I'm with you on that. I don't know why you'd make it 1 inch smaller. That seems so weird.
Right. Now, I think we can all verify. P-Dub also says about the free, you get the free blast, and includes 3 months of free arcade net. Now, I think the free arcade net, it's kind of free right now because they don't have a payment system yet.
It's free right now because there's only 3 pages of games, so effectively I think there's like 30 games on there, and so I think that's the thing. Like, no one would pay $20 a month for that many games. You know what I mean? For like 30 games. So it's like and since day one they haven't added any that I can see. So I think that's just they weren't ready. So let's offer it for free and give people a taste of it. But I'll tell you right now, I hardly play the arcade net games. I'm either playing the Bring Your Own Games thing, which is the $1 an hour, or I'm doing games that I added via MAME or Genesis cores or whatever. There's a bunch of other emulator cores that work on it, by the way. Like, the reason why I didn't go and do videos on all the emulator cores is because, for one, I'm not touching Nintendo. Nintendo can be sons of bitches on stuff. Like, I'm not touching any Nintendo anything. So you're never going to see me do a Nintendo core on that thing. So even though you can do it, Nintendo they like to make examples out of people, so I'm good with not touching Nintendo.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Terry says the cabs are the same size, but the box is a larger size.
What? Oh, is that a joke?
Could be.
He's joking, I think.
But he's probably joking, but I wouldn't be surprised either.
Yeah, true, right?
It's slightly different because the Namco Blast is a few inches taller. That's the difference.
But I mean, overall, I'm really enjoying I am really enjoying it, but I'm enjoying it because I like to play and tinker with stuff. So that's the deciding factor, I think. If you really don't like the 350 games I've included and you have no desire to go out and try to find MAME ROMs and do all that, then yeah, I don't really think that's going to be fun for you. And here's the other thing too, Justin, you and I didn't really talk about this. I would imagine AtGames isn't going to provide any support for that, obviously, because it's a legal gray area, right? They're not going to all of a sudden, if you call them up and say, hey, my ROMs won't work, they're not going to help you with that. That's right. And so people need to be aware that if you're not someone that feels like tech savvy enough to work with that, or you don't feel like doing an investigation in one of the groups or something, I don't know if I touch it, right? I mean,
right.
Just because you're going to have sort of more time tinkering than you are playing, and if that's not something you really like to do, then that's just my opinion on that. But
yeah, I think Ralph, keep watching this channel. He's going to try to support as much as he can with the AtGames, and it's difficult for Ralph as well, right? Because you can't really hand out links to things that have intellectual property associated with it. So you got, when we say tinker, right, we're a little bit knowledgeable about where to get some of these things.
Yeah.
People can kind of point you in the right direction, but then you're kind of on your own.
I did have a link to. I didn't feel like there was really any reason why there was any legal gray area there. So I did provide a link to the emulator core because it was already compiled. So I felt like that was kind of one of those things where it does really help if you already have the compiled core, because if you don't know how to do that, it's kind of a pain in the butt. So, and I think there's actually other links floating out there with the compiled cores, but you won't ever see me personally provide anybody with ROMs, but you can find them. I mean, you can find them. So.
Yeah, we had a good question, a quick one. It was, I kind of lost it here, so sorry for not mentioning your name, but it was basically, can you add a speaker, like a better speaker, to the Mortal Kombat cabinet, without doing a pie?
Well, kinda. So on the new ones, yes. So on the new, so the new PCBs that have the 3.5 millimeter jack output, you can add whatever you want. So that's awesome. So they actually allow for, so if you hook up anything to that 3.5 millimeter jack, it's actually outputting the audio signal. So you could hook up a sound bar, you could hook up an amp, and then more, better speakers and stuff like that. Now, if you have the regular standard PCB, which is the version 1 or the Wave 1, or not Wave 1, I hate that we, right? I think, what did we decide on, Justin? We felt comfortable with it. Rev 1.
So I was thinking about, we were talking about Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3. That's kind of the vernacular that we're trying to use. We're hoping Arcade 1-Up clarifies that soon, because they kind of say 2018 model, 2019 model, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it gets confusing. I don't like Wave. I just have gotten so used to everyone else saying it that I've been saying it, but it's like Gen 1, Gen 2. So the first model of the... oh man, I'm having to fight a boss, so I'm going to be super distracted.
Do it.
Yeah, the original model of that does not output the audio, so you'd have to go through a little bit of a process to upgrade the sound. So it'd be a lot harder. So if you do have a Costco membership and grab one of those, it's going to be a lot easier for you to do that. It's not impossible to do. I never made a video on it, unfortunately. I should have, because you can obviously just upgrade the speaker. The problem is the onboard amp on that PCB isn't great. So yeah, it might sound a little bit better, but I don't think you're going to be like blown away by it. You're really going to want to add an amp. So I could talk through how to do that here, but it'd probably be better to just do a video on it. I never did for whatever reason, but I think it's because I always modded my cabs, so I never bothered, So anyways.
So we got another question. We broke 100, by the way. I think we're doing pretty good, man.
Nice. Awesome.
It's a good Sunday stream.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah. So the question is from Nate. Can you swap control panel decks on Arcade 1-Up? Like putting a Street Fighter control panel deck on a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cabinet. Are the dimensions the same? Now, keep in mind, he mentioned Street Fighter and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
So, I guess I'd want to know why they would want to do that, just to make the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles a 2-player. I guess is that what the purpose is? I guess it'd be interesting to know what the purpose is first, but
right. So let's wait for Nate to answer. Until then, let's say you wanted to swap, let's say Final Fight and Street Fighter. Does that make sense?
Sure. Yeah, you totally could. You could, but don't expect the buttons to map because they have different encoder boards in them. So, yeah, if you did that, your mappings for your buttons would not properly work. So I guess I would want to know what the purpose would be to do it, right? Unless you wanted to just mod your cab and you wanted like a 6-button control panel, and then if you put a Raspberry Pi in it, so it wouldn't really matter. Or sorry, did I say Raspberry Pi? Yeah, Raspberry Pi in it. It wouldn't matter, right? Like, it wouldn't matter the encoder board because you're going to use the Raspberry Pi at that point, so you can just use that control panel for the 6-button layout if that's what you wanted to do.
Right.
But 6-button layouts are easier, but here's the thing. So, if your whole... I'm going to mute this real quick, too, by the way. If your purpose was to mod it so you had all the button access, the DIY Retro Arcades has really great custom control panels that you could add. So if you felt like, oh man, I need a coin button or whatever it might be, if you go to him, he's already got them custom made for almost everything. So just go there. Right. If you don't mind paying a little bit extra, you don't have to drill any of your own holes. It'll already be done for you. And then it's just a matter of you putting the buttons in and wiring it. That's probably the best way to go if you're like a little uncomfortable with the whole process. That's what I would suggest. Otherwise, even if you have the Street Fighter one, you are going to need to add 2 coin buttons because that only has start. Because what Arcade 1-Up does is they map start and coin to the same button. So when you hit start, that's actually registering as a coin, going into a legitimate arcade cabinet. So yeah, you'd have to drill that extra hole, but
yeah, that's right. So DIY Retro Arcade. So first of all, everything he sells is pretty much top notch. Really, when it comes to like you want to get a replacement control deck, the control deck is thicker, right? It's pretty good quality wood. Would you agree, Ralph?
Yeah, it is. He uses birch wood actually, is what he uses.
If you get, buy the control deck with artwork, you don't need a controlled deck protector. You do not need a deck protector with his artwork.
Nope.
But he does sell deck protectors. I think they're like 20. I can't remember the price, but you can ask him, which I've done, to make your deck protector specific for whatever combination that you're buying. He'll do that.
Yep.
And his deck protectors are thicker as well. I put deck protectors on all of my cabinets, even the ones from DIY Retro Arcade, because then they'll match and they look nice. I actually think it looks nicer with the deck protector. It's like shinier.
Yeah, I think it looks nice. It has more of that like polished arcade look because pretty much every arcade game would have had a deck protector on it. So Gives it that finish.
We're starting to get
for
more
sure.
questions here.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you see Arcade 1UP doing a shooter cap?
All right.
Or is today's society too crazy for guns on games?
I don't think it's going to be well, I never thought about that aspect of it. I don't think that's going to be the deciding factor. I think the deciding factor is going to be the technology, guys. So here's the thing. So Arcade 1UP needs to put stuff out that's very easy to resolve issues if they have problems, right? And the problem with the current gun technology is they have to use some kind of light bar, right? So you need a light bar with like an Ultimark gun or any of these other guns. Like they work like a Wiimote, right? You have the LED light bar and it tracks where you're pointing the gun on the screen. So the problem with that is that once you calibrate it standing at a specific location, if you're not playing from that exact location, you can't really guarantee that you're going to have a good experience. So they fall out of calibration quite often. They aren't out-of-the-box technologies that I can power off and power on a unit, and they just work every time. So I don't think the existing LCD monitor / light gun technology will work for them. It's just going to be too problematic. So that's why, number one, I think they can't do it right now. Now, if I'm letting myself die, by the way, guys, just so I can talk, because I can't freaking game sometimes and talk. So
Yeah.
The other thing, I muted the audio for the game too. So the other thing about that becomes problematic is that the current technology, the brand new one that just came out, the PDP Mars, how that works is it shoots a laser at the screen, and then it has a camera that calibrates. It calibrates the camera to the screen, so the camera has to be calibrated to see the whole entire screen, and then it sort of captures where that laser is at on the screen at any given time. Problem is the distance that camera needs to be away from the LCD panel is actually quite a bit of distance, so you'd need to put the camera somewhere. And I've sort of played with it a little bit, and someone else did a video on it. If it was even embedded at the edge of the control panel, it still isn't enough room. So it'd have to go further back. So that technology to me is kind of out. The only one that I think they could maybe partner with, and this is a huge maybe because I have no idea what kind of money he would want, is the Sinden or Sidon gun project. Now, there's also some caveat to everything. How that works is the camera is actually in the device. It's in the gun, but it uses a white border. You know about this, Justin, because you've done a lot of this kind of stuff. It uses a white border around the screen to understand where the edges and top and bottom of the screen are. So that would be the only current technology that I think they could pull off that would be at least maintenance-free enough for them to work. And that's still to be determined because that's not even out yet. So I haven't played with it yet. It may have its own set of issues, but that's the only one today that I think they could partner with and maybe pull that off. Unless there's some technology they develop themselves, but I don't see that happening, right? I feel like they'd have to partner with someone on this.
Right.
So I don't know. That's my opinion on that. I don't know, Justin. I'd love to hear you. So people that don't know, Justin did a little bit of. If you look on his site, you've done a little bit of the whole light gun and LCD sort of hack type stuff, which is actually pretty cool. That's how I found you initially, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. There was this guy who started modifying ROMs, and he would make modifications to old NES games. So he discovered that it's not true. So it's not true that you can't use a Nintendo Zapper on a modern television. So that's not true. So here I am trying to spread the word. But basically the idea is the original NES Zapper, stop me Ralph if this is not interesting, it is not sensitive enough to detect the light given from an LCD. So if you replace the Zapper with one is more sensitive, so I guess it's kind of true the authentic Zapper, doesn't work with an LCD. But you just replace the photosensor with one that's more sensitive. Now it can detect the changes in brightness. And then now your second problem is the lag. So if people don't know, there's delay between going from analog to digital, and then even the digital display has additional lag that the original CRT televisions did not have. So you're playing Duck Hunt, it can't sense the flash of light, first because it can't sense the light, but if you get a better photosensor, now it can. And then the screen has too much delay between the time the gun is looking for the duck changing to white, and so this guy modified the ROM so that it knows the lag of your television and flashes a few milliseconds later, a few frames later, and it works. And so in the intro of all my YouTube videos, the very end of my intro, it's me playing Duck Hunt on an LCD, proving it works. So it's even possible to do that on an arcade 1-up cabinet. You could take an original Nintendo if you so desired and hook it up to an arcade 1-up cabinet using some of the tools that are out there to get original NES to high definition.
But Justin, you would need to modify each ROM though, right?
Right, so this guy, he has a patch for almost, I don't know, at least 5 games.
Oh, really?
He has a patch, yeah.
Hogan's Alley?
Yeah, he has a website. It's like, here, download the patch, and you have to have the ROM, and then you patch the ROM with his patch, and you put it on. You have to put it on a flash card, so you need to own a flash card, and then you put it on a Nintendo, and then you need to have a proper scaler, right? That'll go from your analog source to digital, and you want that to be lag-free. Otherwise, it's going to contribute to more problems. So it's fully possible. So the reason why this is interesting is it's just proof that Arcade 1-Up could do it as well. They don't need a Nintendo. They take that same technology and apply it towards arcades. It would work. Now, here's a little bit of information. AtGames has released a replacement, is releasing a Zapper for Nintendo.
AtGames is?
Yep.
Or are you talking about Hyperkin? The Hyper Blaster. Are you talking about Hyperkin?
Sorry, I'm so wrong. Why did I say AtGames? Thank you so much, Ralph.
Okay, I was like,
Hyperkin.
shoot, okay.
Well, you know, AtGames, Hyperkin. Okay, so...
Okay, Justin,
so
Hyperkin I think would be offended by that a bit, but okay. We'll go.
Okay, so Hyperkin is releasing a third-party Zapper for the Nintendo. And it's an entire setup so that you can play Duck Hunt. And guess whose ROM they're using?
Oh no, are they using your buddies?
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding. Okay, so I didn't know that. So I wonder if I met...
Same solution.
I wonder if I met your buddy because I talked to someone at E3. I've worked with Celia for a little while now, and she's like, hey, if you want to come check out the Hyper Blaster, I think that's what it's called. And I met someone that talked me through how it worked and everything, which is basically exactly what you just explained. But I wonder if it was him.
Yeah, well, this guy, I don't know if he speaks English. He's in a different country.
Okay.
I'm communicating. Well, he might. I've emailed him a few times, and it was, a little broken English. But cool guy. Software developer, knows the old systems really well. But anyway, what Hyperkin was doing was they're doing real-time patching of the ROM. Is essentially they have an adapter that plugs right into your NES cartridge, and it's the same technology as Game Genie, right? It's just real-time patching the ROM. So they're using Game Genie-like technology.
Nice.
To patch the game, and then they have a. So the Zapper that I own is a Hyperkin. And it's like $5 on eBay. Oh no!
It's that replacement NES one they have, right?
It's called Tommy, but it's made by Hyperkin.
Okay, cool.
I got on eBay for $6.
I'm totally getting my ass kicked, by the way, right now by Krang.
You're almost there, man. Like Shredder's next, right? You could do this.
So that was actually a really good question, by the way, and thank you for filling in on that additional detail on the light gun stuff. So I do think if they probably could go that route, or they could probably the Sidon guy would be pretty stoked if they wanted to partner with him, I'm sure. But on a 17-inch screen with a white border, people might be kind of bummed out to lose a little bit of that screen real estate. I guess maybe they could have a 19-inch so it won't maybe have as much of an impact, but...
Yeah. So Randy mentioned something really interesting. I think it's good for people to hear if you didn't catch it in the comments. It's saying how now I lost it. Sam's Club has a discount where you pay $45 for the initial membership, and then your first purchase has $45 off. So if you're interested in getting that AtGames cabinet, you might want to check out that special. You might be able to pick up that cabinet for a sweet $4.99, right?
Yeah, man, that'd be awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
I do have a little bit of an opinion on I mentioned screen size. I do have an opinion on that because in the beginning I was like all amped up on putting 19-inch screens in my 1-up mods, and then I think after the new screens came out in these Revision 3 cabinets, we're at Revision 3, right? I think that's what we're at. I feel like they fixed a lot of the issues, and it's actually a different manufacturer they're using. But like you're so on top of the screen that I don't know, to go from 17 to 19, you're so close to it. You know what I mean? So I don't really have an issue with the screen size. I had more of an issue with the screen quality, and I feel like they've sort of fixed that.
Yeah, I think so. Arcade 1-Up has made such incredible improvements. And if you notice that when you play the Star Wars cabinet, like the Star Wars cabinet, there's no control deck like in the traditional sense. Like there's a yoke, and you're like that much closer to the screen, right? And so, even though it's a 17-inch, it feels like kind of pretty big actually, because you're really close to it.
Yeah, I think so too. I do. That's my whole thing. So I don't know, like going through all the trouble to go and upgrade the monitor and that added cost in the new cabinets, I don't feel like there's a point in doing that. I really don't.
All right. So you're at Shredder. You almost got this. Now I gotta ask the question. I don't know if you guys follow RetroRalph on Facebook. He posted a video of him. He got the Marvel cabinet, but it's shipped to his house. It was dropped off. There's a little video of what are you using, like Ring technology or something? You're capturing all the people walking.
No, so I happened to be working from home that day, and the part that you didn't see, I was like, oh crap. I was like, oh no. Like you could tell the FedEx guy was taking a long time to come out, so I knew something was up.
Right.
So anyways, if you want to tell the rest,
Yeah, so he's got a Marvel cabinet, right? But then he had to go on a trip. And he hasn't released. He's obviously home now, right? And he hasn't released a Marvel cabinet. And I haven't heard anything about Kim recently. And he mentioned, "Oh my God, she's gonna kill me." So, are you okay, man? You're obviously still alive, but what's going on?
So, all right. So check this out. So I know that she knows it's in there. And do you want to know how? All right, it's really hard for me to talk and do Shredder at the same time.
Chat, is she?
She's at work right now. She's at
work. Okay, cool.
Yeah, but she does watch the replays, so she might catch this on replay. So here's what happened. Here's how I know. By the way, Shredder's dead. So, or not Shredder, but yeah, Shredder.
That's Shredder, right?
So yeah. Okay, so I put it. When I saw it, I was like, crap. I put it in the guest room right away, and I wasn't trying to like legitimately hide it from her, but I put it in the guest room, and the way we had just had guests, her niece was in town, so the way that how like if you have guests, you want to like wash your sheets after or whatever, right? So the sheets were kind of thrown in a ball in the middle, and so the way I put the cabinet, if you walk by the guest room, there's no way you would have seen it, right? So it was completely hidden. But when I got back from the trip, the bed was made. So she went in the room. She definitely saw it, but she didn't say anything though. She said nothing about it. So I don't know what to think about that, man.
Yeah.
She knows though. She hasn't said anything, so it could be like she could be saving it for a rainy day,
I think she's gonna have the talk too, because coincidentally today I had the talk. My wife says we need to talk about your purchasing of arcade cabinets, and I was like, here it comes. here it comes, because here's the problem, I don't know where I'm at. 10 11.
Oh, you at 11? Oh wow, you're up there then.
I have Space Invaders right here, and Marvel is right by my door. Like when the FedEx guy came, and it's been there for a week.
Oh, so it's not unboxed.
It's not unboxed yet. Because
man.
I got all these projects that I'm working on, and I can't start a new project. That's just how I am. I can't start a new project till I finish the previous one. So all I got was, please, honey, don't buy any cabinets until we get back from Disney, which is in May. Just we gotta make sure we have plenty of extra cash. For the Disney trip.
But think about it though, like there's nothing going to be coming out right now, right? So I mean, what's coming out? There's nothing coming out. You're good. You're at least good. There's CES coming up, which we haven't talked about yet. But there's going to be nothing new. Well, actually, no. The cocktail frickin' cabinets, the Blackout series ones. Damn it!
They're going like, if that thing drops. See, all I'm waiting for is $450 cocktail free shipping on the black ones, and I'll pull the trigger.
So the black ones are pretty sweet. The black ones are pretty sweet. So actually, do you someone that I really love watching, he's really into arcades like me, but he's not so much a big fan of Arcade 1-Up or even AtGames, but Scarlet Sprites is a really good dude. I don't know if he was at that little conference thing that you happen to be at, but he focuses a lot of his efforts on arcades. He does like a lot of
Yeah, I've seen
arcade.
him.
Yeah. So he
good.
yeah, totally cool guy. But he actually had just done a video not that long ago where he's talking about the first arcade 1-up cabinet that actually sparked his interest was the Blackout Cocktail Cab. So I actually really think that thing looks nice. The other one looks kind of stupid. Like, I'm sorry if anybody has it, but like it's too flashy. Like if you were gonna put it in a room, it just doesn't even look like an original cocktail cabinet looked. It just looks too. I don't know. It's goofy with all the graphics
The yellow,
on it, in my opinion.
the Pac-Man yellowish one.
It's too much to me.
Yeah, I feel the same way. When I saw it, I was like, I don't know, it's a little too much. But the black, I don't know if it's because it's black or that looks more like the very popular ones that was at like pizzerias. Right?
Yeah, I think
like,
that's
they
what
were
it is.
dark. Right?
It replaces the nostalgia feeling. The only thing is the ones that were at pizzerias used to have like wood grain, so they'd have like some wood grain on them. But I think the black ones look as most like the original as I remember.
Right. So here's my problem. Yeah, but we're coming on to Black Friday, and I like deals. You know, I've been on my channel. That's what I usually talk about on this time of year. Or in February, I did some, and so I'm going to be producing more. I'm not trying to plug my channel here, but I'll be producing more deals. I guess I am. Sorry, Ralph.
No, dude.
But it's so hard for me because, like, I did the video on E3 and those cabinets, and then I bought every single one of them. You know how hard it is to create and edit videos? They're, you know, Ralph, they're like, you know, they're like 4 hours long. Like, everyone comes on YouTube, they watch Ralph's videos. Like, one time you did a video and you told me you did it in your lunch break. How long was your lunch break?
No, dude, you're gonna get me in big trouble right now. So, okay, so I did legitimately edit that video. I filmed it and edited it the fastest I've ever done. It was an hour and it was about an hour and 40 minutes. But that's that's because I'm pretty good at being able to just do a flow, like get into a flow. Like if I think about what I'm going to say or what I want to say, I don't need to script myself at all, which I don't script myself at all. I write notes and then maybe I've never read from a script. So I'm kind of good at that, but there are days where I just fail at it. That day I was just on point. Like I didn't have to make cuts. So it was like, 3 clips put together, opening, ending, and it worked. But that doesn't happen very often. So yes, it usually takes a long time.
I don't know. I'm sorry if we're changing the subject to YouTube stuff, but we're towards the end of the stream now. But what's your average video take to edit?
With filming or editing? With both or?
Yeah, let's do both.
It's like 4 hours usually. If I think about music, I want to add transitions, things I cut out. Yeah, it's usually about 4 hours. It takes a while. It takes a long time.
So bringing back to my point, I made several E3 videos and build up some hype, because I thought it was really exciting and a lot of people were interested in exact details about the different cabinets. You can't spend 4 hours talking about everything great about the new arcade 1-up cabinets and then not buy them.
Yeah, I know.
Which is why I own Star Wars, and it's why you own Star Wars,
and legitimately,
why we both own.
Justin, seriously though, when I don't, did you join? Actually, I think you were on it. I'm pretty sure you were on it because I think you were really vocal in it. But when I did that AtGames We Gotta Talk thing, I had kind of convinced myself at that time that I was not gonna like the cabinet due to a lot of misinformation out there, and then. And then, like, as soon as it came out, dude, it came out, I told my buddy, I said, I'm just going to go to Sam's Club. I'm just going to look at it. And saying you're going to just look at it. Did you not?
Can't.
No, that doesn't even exist.
The best I've done is the Space Invaders cabinet that I have here.
Terry said, we know, Ralph, we know.
Yeah. I did get that for $75.
Wait, which one?
That was cool.
Which one did you?
The Space Invaders.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But it was at Walmart for $150 just 2 weeks prior. And that was probably the hardest thing to walk away from. Because it's like, it's $150. It's not $300 like it was. And I made a video when it was coming out saying it's limited edition. It's not going to go down in price. So you better just go up there and pick it up.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's true. I should go pick it up. But I held back. And then I held back again. And then I got it for $75. But some things you just can't hold back. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, fantastic. What do you think?
I really like it. And I said I wasn't going to mod it, and legitimately, if you're a big TMNT fan, I don't feel like you really have to mod it. I mean, it's a sickness I have. I have tried to explain this in a video before that my whole life, no matter what it was, if it was a car, if it was, I don't know, like artwork, it doesn't matter anything. If it was a handheld radio or a Walkman, like I'd find some reason, some way, somehow to mod it. I just never liked keeping anything stock. I don't know what it was. And it used to drive my mom crazy, but if you talk to my mom today and you say, like, what did Ralph do as a kid? The one thing she'll always say is she goes, he used to always take everything apart. And I just did that. I don't know. It's just one of those weird things. I love taking stuff apart. Now, in the early days, I'd take it apart and probably never be able to put it back together. It took till I got a little older to realize that, okay, well, I like taking it apart for a reason, but I want to now understand what I'm taking apart, and then can I make it better? So that didn't come till later on, but yeah, it's just been one of those weird things. So I tried so hard to keep it stock, and then I just couldn't. So anyway, just how it goes, dude. I don't know. I feel like you and I share a little bit of the similarities that way, because I know you like to play with stuff. So.
All right, so I think we're wrapping up the stream now. If there's any final questions, throw them in the chat. We can discuss them before we end this. What do you say, Ralph?
Yeah, I think I just appreciate everyone joining. I guess we'll give it another 1 minute or so to see if anybody else has any questions. If not, we'll close it out, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this format. Maybe we could do it again. I know I really appreciated having Justin here. He's someone that I've become friends with over time. So this whole community, I've met a lot of really cool people, and so it's been fun, man. I've loved it. And hopefully one day, or maybe even at CES, we can all meet each other. I think it'd be fun. But yeah. If you want to check, see if there's anything else that's in there. If not, we can.
Yeah. So we got where in Walmart did you find cabs for $75? I can answer that real quick. Brickseek.com is a pretty good site. It's not available everywhere. Space Invaders is the one that's kind of hot right now. That may or may not be $75. I've heard some people go to Walmart and just say, hey, it's $75 somewhere else. Would you match it? They have the right to refuse that, but some have said, sure, we'll match it. Here's a question for you, Ralph. Let's see. Any predictions for the next line of Arcade 1-Up cabs?
I'm gonna go with that they're gonna finally do the stupid NBA Jam. If anybody ever watched my video, I think they got that one locked down somehow. So I think there's gonna be an NBA Jam, and I think there's gonna be a Simpsons, and maybe an X-Men. I don't know, but there might be other, and there's gonna be some Atari one that I'm gonna totally not care about too. It's probably gonna
be. What about the Neo Geo? There was that one that's kind of leaked, and they were like,
so SNK has been a little bit more open with working with different people lately. So that one, I could believe that would happen, but it can't be that lineup, man. They got to change the lineup. There's so many great. Not that I don't like King of Fighters, but get a Metal Slug cab. I think Metal Slug would sell pretty well here in America, but King of Fighters, I don't think was that popular here in America. I could be wrong, but I wasn't a big King of Fighters fan, but that just might be me. I don't know.
Yeah, we got some more questions here. Let's keep it going. If you're cool.
Yeah,
cool?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, so Ralph and Justin, can you recommend the 1-Up Street Fighter cab? What do you say?
Stock, I actually really enjoyed it. I mean, it had a couple issues where like the sound was off, and I think it was Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition, or the new Challengers. I think it was the new Challengers. I really had fun with it. I'd recommend it only because I think it's a great cabinet as a base cabinet to mod if you can get it for a good price. Yeah. What do you think, Justin?
Last I checked the price, they're online for $245. To my knowledge, they only have the first generation model. They have not released a second version of the Street Fighter cabinet. We don't know if they will. So yeah, the first generation, like he said, it only has right speaker.
Yep.
And some of those games are stereo, so you only hear what comes out of the right speaker. There's fixes for it, but it's kind of hard to do the fix. You have to be good at soldering, and you have to solder a blob across a couple pins, and then that fixes it. But for it may not be annoying to you. So honestly, I only play the first game on that cabinet.
You did. Why did you glaze over the comment that Pitbull left? He said, "How did you get so damn sexy?" Now I don't know if he's talking about you or me.
I didn't know who he was talking about. So,
yeah, actually, Pitbull, if you could actually clarify, that'd be awesome. I'm sure you're talking about Justin, but
it's probably talking about someone else in the chat. Let's see what else we got. Ralph, is there a company that I can't pay to replace my that I can play to replace the Teenage Mutant TMNT joysticks and buttons?
To Sam's? I'm confused about the question. I don't know of anybody that like, you mean like a service where you'd ship them your stuff and they'd do like the mod for you. I know actually, so Ryan at Game Room Solutions started a company called Arcade Mod Up, which is actually, it is Game Room Solutions, and I think he actually is doing packaged control panels that have everything already done for you. Like, even has the Pi on it, and I don't know if it's preloaded with games. I don't know, but he is doing that. So check out Arcade Mod Up. He's not fixing your stuff, but he is offering a service where it's like a drop-in control panel, which that's kind of cool. So you might want to check that out.
Do you think Arcade 1UP will release a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Light Up Marquee version in 2020?
Probably. I mean, they've had a lot of. I think they're noticing they have a lot of success with those special side cabinets that they're throwing in like in Costco. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Right. And yeah, so the TMNT is exclusive with Walmart right now, but that'll probably run out in 3 months. We think maybe they have a 6-month contract. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So it's possible. They also talked about actually making a like Arcade 1UP might actually make, what would you call it? A light up marquee that you could use to replace.
I mean, I don't see how they haven't. I don't see why they haven't already. I mean, get a couple. Right. If they already have the artwork licensed, have their marquee available. Like, just have one and you can pick which artwork you want. I don't know why they haven't. To me, that would be like a gold mine for them. I don't know if it's just the resources to do it, but it makes perfect sense for them to do that. And I think clearly the modding community has spoken that that's something people want. So I'm really shocked they haven't done that yet.
Let's see. We're going to have to skip some of these for time, I think, right?
Yeah, I got about like a good 5 more minutes if we want to do a couple more.
Okay. Let's see. Do you see any good questions?
Let's see. Think anyone else will try to enter the marketplace? I mean, there's a whole DIY scene that's pretty big and been big for a while. I mean, to me, there's, you got Rec Room Masters, you got Game Room Solutions. Those are two like pretty big ones. I think what's it called still exists. Dream Arcades, I think, still exists. So there's like a bunch of DIY ones. I think Dream Arcades actually stopped doing DIY kits. They just do kits where it's all ready to go and you put it in your PC or Pi. And Rec Room Masters has cabinets like, there's one behind me. You can't see it because of my green screen, but I have the Rec Room Masters vertical cab. You can order that in either a JAMA-enabled control panel or a RetroPie-enabled control panel. So really, you build it, take it out of the box, and it is more cumbersome to build, but you hook up whatever you want, whether it's JAMA or RetroPie, and you're good to go. So I don't see a third one because the DIY, I think, covers the rest of it, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, you know how it is. If something's hot, undoubtedly there's someone out there looking at it. Does it make sense to join? But I feel like it'd be a weird. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know what their niche would be. Clearly, AtGames' niche is it's an open platform, which actually I think is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see any other ones that were like striking me right now, but there's a lot in there. It looks like, but we could have missed a couple. But there's always next Sunday, right?
That's right.
Shall I close us out?
I think so. I think it's time. I think we planned on 45 minutes. We went a little bit longer. I hope that's okay with everybody.
Yeah. And if you like this, please let us know in the bedtime for Ralph, someone said. Please let us know in the comments. But I'm pumping up the music right now, even though Justin can't hear it. I'm going to get the applause for you guys joining. Thank you so much. Thank you, Justin. Oh, you shouldn't. Oh, my gosh. Thank you so much. But, and don't forget. Hold on. Don't forget.
America does it.
That's how Dad did it. That's how America does it. And it's worked out pretty well so far. So, guys, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it. The channel has gone through amazing growth, and it's all because of you guys. So, thank you, Justin. You've been awesome. This was super fun. We're definitely going to have to do this again. And if you're new to the channel, please like the video. Please consider subscribing if it's something you enjoyed. And, guys, we will see you on the next one. Take care. Justin's going to awkwardly not know when I'm stopping the stream. So he's going to sit there and not have any clue. All right, we're out of here. Thanks, Justin. All right, thanks, everybody. Take care.